No, not yet.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are live. August 24th, 2023, Canoga Park, California. 2LaneLIVE headquarters. There's the beer crack from my man Galen. This episode is brought to you by EagleRider Motorcycle Rentals and Tours. Don't forget to check out 2LaneLIVE.com under the EagleRider tab to see how you can book a trip, ride a bike, see some new stuff, and save some money while you're at it. Today, we've got the one and only Leticia Cline in the house, or in her house across the country. Leticia is currently a journalist, motorcycle racer, heritage tourism preservationist, owner of a wolf dog named Jack London, and a mother to a human named Caleb. She opened a free community motorcycle garage named Smiley's in honor of her dad, and runs a bar called The Dive with her mom and sister. She's got a ton of other great stuff going on, so we'll tune her in just a couple minutes. What's happening, boys?
Well, our very, very first Sturgis video from 2023 dropped yesterday, and it's going off. Loving it. Fun video. Great riding. Great time.
It was a great time. And I love the video. I love the next one even better. We'll just keep getting better and better and better as we work our way into Sturgis. But are we going to talk about the elephant in the room a little bit?
What's the elephant in the room?
How your father tried to poison me?
Yes. Galen pulled his back out, so he's been actually an old man walking around the studio warehouse trying to work. He's showing up, though.
Can you overdose on a leave? Because Dr. George Corey left a note with some drugs, right, and we're kind of worried about our bud right now.
Yeah, I think he took too many a leave.
Took 3 in the morning, and then I took 2 after lunch, according to my doctor.
He did call the Poison Control Center, and they said, you're fine, and it's okay to crack a beer.
Well, they didn't say that, but so George, I'm coming at you tomorrow, buddy, if I make it. But if I get a little squirrely, don't worry, it's not the beer.
It's just your average Thursday.
Don't forget 2LaneLIVE.com. We got some cool shirts. We got new shirts. We got new gloves with a leather palm. We got some great stuff over there. We got great blogs. Go check it out. Our videos. Go back and watch yesterday's if you haven't seen it, and go deeper. You know, I mean, after this interview or talking with Leticia, you're going to want to go back and watch the Kentucky series, because that was definitely one of our wives' favorites, one of our favorites. We dug it. So, you know.
Well, and I think the other, you know, it's great to have her on. She's got a couple new endeavors that we want to talk about with her, but we have a new endeavor as well.
Yes.
And we're gonna support her endeavor in our new endeavor.
Yes.
So it looks like our storefront, all the carpeting, all the flooring, all the painting, all the wrap, everything's going to be ready to go by September 15th.
Yeah.
And we'll be in the new place and look for a grand opening coming early October.
Bigger, better studio, maybe a bar behind us.
Better studio,
bigger, better showroom. But before we get into having Leticia on the screen in front of you, we got to say she is one of our favorite. She is so badass. She rides hard. She builds stuff. If she's going to create something or has something in her mind, she makes it happen. I mean, we respect that from anybody, but she's kind of like someone that we really look at and go, wow.
And while we're gassing her up, I was on a road trip with a friend over the weekend, and they were asking me, you know, about my favorite trips, about favorite stories that have been told. So one, of course, was Aaron Baker. And the second, not in any particular order, was the Kentucky trip, having Leticia show us around, see that incredible history, ride the bikes, have steak dinner shots. The story. It's great.
Well, let's get into it. So we've also had The Dive has posted a few times where since we were there and people saw the drop, they actually went to The Dive and had some steak dinner. So
well, every time I see The Dive on Instagram, it looks like they're growing and growing and growing. Yeah. So I'm stoked. Let's get her on here.
Hold on, I'm typing. I'm a decent 7 out of 10 multitasker. Leticia Cline in the house.
Hi, guys. You guys sure do know how to make a girl feel special.
Well, you are very special.
Is she a little? Was that?
A
little grainy, but we can hear.
That's we can hear her. And your mother and your sister is one badass. She's a good bouncer.
Oh,
we've seen it.
Shannon's the best bouncer ever, and she's she's the Dalton from Roadhouse. You know?
Right.
She's great. Even drives the white Mercedes that he did. So,
wow.
Yeah.
I like it.
Hey,
I love it.
I have had a lot of people actually stop in at the bar because of the show. I mean, so many people have watched that. And not only did they stop in to get a steak dinner, but they took the same routes and went to all the same places that we all went. And so it's cool that you guys are becoming like a guidebook for, how to travel.
We love it. But just so everyone's clear, the steak dinner is not really a steak dinner. It's a drink.
Yes,
And
that's right.
And you introduced that to us, and we've gone to bars and told the bartenders, and they're like, I never heard of it. And they try it and they love it.
Yeah, I know. It's just, everyone loves it at first. They're like, I'm not drinking that, but it's whiskey, Worcestershire, lemon, and pepper on it. And it's the best thing ever.
I actually bought 5 or 6 people on Saturday or Sunday. My wife was watching her mother, so I went to have some lunch at a local bar. And there were 5 people. And I said, can I buy you all a steak dinner? And they're like, what? And so we served them up, and they could not believe the taste.
Oh, yeah.
Real quick, not to cut you off. People are saying that you, Leticia, are a black screen and they can't see you. I'm waiting to see. Oh, never mind. There she is. She's back. I was going to tune you out, then get you back on, but it looks like we're good. So scratch that.
She looks a little pixelated to me.
Yeah, it's probably just the
She's
Wi-Fi.
behind on her speaking.
Or all the drugs you took.
No, I can see.
Hey, let me tell you what. You can take too much Aleve, and this time know it. Mike was on it. He had his surgery on his finger where a dog bit it, and he took all these Aleve, and it ate the stomach lining from his stomach. So it took a month to get that right. It was bad. So
Wow.
don't take a lot. But that was over
I didn't realize it, and so I did call poison control because everything on the internet is like, you're going to die. And so they're like, no, you're okay. You did 2 before lunch, 2 after. You shouldn't do that at all, but you ate. You've got lots of liquid in you. So I decided to add more than water.
Funny.
If you look it up on the internet, we're all dying.
I know.
Right,
is true.
exactly.
I've got 12 and a half diseases.
That's why I just went to the source.
I'm a hypochondriac, so I'm
No
So
WebMD here.
How was the weather in Cave City at this moment?
Well, I'm in Iowa at the moment.
All right.
City, but it's hot. So it's hot here. Heat index of 115 and like 105 back home. I mean, I haven't been out. I've been sick, so I've been in anyway, and I'm not going to go out in the heat.
Right. Don't blame me on that one. So how is the bar doing right now? Are you stoked? Are you glad you have it?
Yes, it comes in waves. Sometimes I'm like, oh man, it's not running a bar isn't easy. You take something that's fun and you enjoy and you make it a business, and you gotta like, oh shit, you mean I gotta pay bills and I gotta make this thing run. It's not just hanging out all the time, but we balance it well. Me and my mom and my sister being partners on it after 4.5 years. I mean, we just kind of got our flow down and really do it. Just really know how to work it. So it's been great, and business has been good, and as always. And someone just commented that I was in the Kentucky tourism campaign, and so we just try to promote Kentucky always around, and the bar catches a little bit of that.
Awesome.
Very good.
That is awesome. That's our favorite bar. We had a great time riding around, but now, I mean, we ride so much, and we put so many miles on, and you have a drink that's out there. Are pickle?
Well, before we jump into that, so talk a little bit about the tourist campaign.
Oh, yeah.
So the state of Kentucky asked us to, Mike and I, for people that don't know, I'm dating Mike Wolf from American Pickers. And if we would shoot the new campaign, it's called Joyride, and it's about riding classic cars through all those beautiful roads that we got to take on a motorcycle, and just, horses, farmers markets, just bourbon, like all the things that make Kentucky great. And shot that for 2 days in 16 cities, and it was a really cool experience. I can't wait to see it. I mean, it was a huge production. I got to do things that I never would have been able to do probably as just a normal person, but like I got like behind the scenes exclusive looks at like the most expensive horse in the world.
Wow. No way.
Yeah, Curlin. Let me tell you this. We're all in the wrong business, because this horse's sperm is worth $250,000, and he can do that 4 times a day from February to July. Add that up. I mean, he's pulling in $1 million a day for that many months. That's insane. So anyway, I was trying to steal him, but it didn't work.
That's awesome.
Well, when I went to the Kentucky Derby a couple of years back, we actually took a group of people out to a farm, and same thing. They were talking about really the money. It's expensive anyway, but the money is in the sperm. Oh, yeah. And if you've got a winner there, and you've got a heritage and a line that's all the way through, I mean, they can make some sperm bank money.
Dude, yeah, and they live better than we do. This farm was the barn cats were cleaner than I am. It was amazing to see that. And then, we got to go with the master distiller at Buffalo Trace and try some single barrel 8-year, stuff that people wouldn't normally try, and just the neat underbelly of Kentucky that I just don't ever get to think of, and experience. And so I'm just glad that I get to help promote my state,
That's definitely awesome. More and more people, if they hit the road, I mean, we've learned that too. We meet people and we get to get in places where you normally wouldn't, and you see it and you share it, and it's all out there for everyone to go get.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that's what's great. It's like the back roads of America, the 2 lanes, just seeing what makes America so great is really what we need to connect with, and now more than ever.
And sometimes you have to just be a little forceful and ask. Like we were in Silverton, Silverthorne or Silverton? Silverton. And we were at a restaurant there, and we found out that there were the hotel next to us. There was actually a city that was built down below. And so we went in and said, hey, can we see that? And they took us down, and you could see the old foundations, the old brick walls, and you could see the sidewalk through where they used to pass through. And they ended up building the city up higher. And it's some of those things that are unique that you don't see. It's like in Seattle, there's a whole city built on top of, a city, which is really, really crazy.
In Silverton, they actually used that underground during Prohibition. So they could go underneath the streets and pass alcohol back and forth. But there was a theater.
And ladies of the evening.
Yeah, they took us into a theater with actual seats and where people would do shows underground, and it was pretty cool.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
See, but to your point about these places you just never see,
Yeah, and you don't realize that they're there. And part of finding out that they're there is just kind of really not just going into a small town, but just talking to the people. Find a good dive bar and belly up to it, and someone's going to tell you about something cool in that town that is not on Yelp, and then you're going to go experience it, and that's what's great.
Yeah, make sure they have a good bouncer, though, because we bellied up at the dive bar in Kentucky, in Cave City, and a gentleman there came over, and he was chewing our ears off, and Shannon proceeded to grab him and say, come on, buddy, you're out of here. Leave these guys alone.
She's the best. I love her so much. I mean, Shannon, I always say this. I market the bar and I get people to want to come to it, but she gets people to want to stay and come back. She just got the perfect personality for it. For it.
Well, the dynamic trio of you guys working together is really cool to see as well.
Yeah. And now she just told me the other day she's getting a she's a motorcyclist too, but we're totally different. She's stretched out swing arm Hayabusa.
Right.
I'm cruising along in my Harley. And she's like, I'm getting another motorcycle. I'm like, you're stupid. She's the last person that needs a motorcycle. She's too
you don't cruise around on your motorcycle. You rip around on your motorcycle.
I like to, and I just got a bigger one. So I'm excited about that.
And we need to put some thrashing parts on it.
Yeah, for sure. I was like, you know what? The worst part is breaking in a motorcycle, right? So finally did that. And I was like, well, I'm going to ride to Iowa to get my hair done. So round trip, it's 1,200 miles. And that was the worst on a stock bike. I think that's the first time I've ever really ridden a stock bike. I've never ridden one out of the showroom stock. I've always had them put seats and stuff on immediately.
So,
And it's
I
not
see
bad.
SGQ did this, so we'll see him next week.
so think about what she just said. She rode 1,200 miles round trip to get a haircut.
Well, I didn't get a cut. I got it longer, but it was worth it. And but I also wanted to just really ride that bike and kind of give it the shakedown and just figure out what I wanted on it.
Right.
I mean, I figured the best way to figure that out is to ride it hard and far. And oh man, a couple hundred miles into it, I'm like, my back is killing me. Shoulder position, seats, like I need highway pegs or back pegs, something to like move around a little bit on that bike.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, you know, she's a writer because she said it's shakedown.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Down.
So we were going to have you on a couple weeks ago, and you were kind enough to send some product over for us, and someone drank all of it, so we didn't.
Well, she didn't send that.
No.
Oh, we got
Yeah, I got that on that.
We actually
on that
bought it on
Amex,
Amazon.
baby.
Got it.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm
So
sending
now
you.
I don't feel as bad because you drank all of it.
We're
So-
excited to bust it out on this trip. We did drink some on the way back from Sturgis, which was actually kind of a lifesaver.
I mean, people forget how important hydration is, especially when you're out on the road and it's 100 degrees and you're ripping, and you know the wind takes so much out of you.
Yeah.
And it's just you need to keep when you're hydrated, you can go forever.
Yes. Yeah, that's for sure. And not only that, like people don't think about your clearer thinking. Your reaction time is better, and that's proven if you're hydrated. And you all need that on a motorcycle, especially with drivers, how worse and worse they get over the years these days. So I am the marketing director, and I also invested in a pickle juice company or pickle company. We have pickle juice, and it's called Sucker Punch. And we've been around since 2011, and we're in 20,000 stores all across America.
Awesome.
And, yeah. And we, but we have pickle juice, and it's for hydration, and it's natural electrolytes, replaces, it's like a salt replacer because that's what you sweat out when you're sweating. And it's only 2 ounces is all you need instead of a big old Gatorade, and it gets you straight. I don't know if you guys know that used to do this or have done this or anything, but when I would race like hooligan flat track, and especially like Lost Highway, I don't know if you guys remember, it was so freaking hot then in the desert, and I drank 2 huge things of pickle juice. That's the only thing that would like hydrate us and like good. I mean, it didn't matter how much water you drink, but pickle juice was a lifesaver. And so it's out there, and like athletes know it, but I don't think the general public knows just how good it is for you.
Well, you can drink 10 gallons of water and it might not hydrate you at all. You need the salts and all those other minerals and things like that.
So when my son was playing high school basketball, AAU, him and his teammates would drink pickle juice before the games. They'd have pickle juice at the games, and it would really help them with the cramping because they're sweating off a lot of water, running up and down the court.
Yeah.
So that's they would just have it in like a quart jar and,
yeah.
Yeah.
I get up in the morning and drop a little Celtic salt on my tongue and then drink the water. Seriously.
Yeah. But see here, the thing that's perfect. And then ours is like got an extra calcium, magnesium, and potassium in it. So someone said it's great for chasers, and it definitely is because it kills the taste of alcohol. Everyone loves a pickleback, but they don't realize that they're also like making it to where you're not going to have as bad of a hangover if you drink pickle juice. So we always say the first shot of the day and the last shot of the night.
Yeah.
What did we bought some that had pepper in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we get the pepper one.
So you say 20 stores across the country. What kind of stores?
20,000.
20,000. I meant 20,000.
We're like anything from Whole Foods to Kroger, Aldi, Publix, any of the smaller ones, and like the ones that are more regional to areas. I'm not in sales, but I mean, we're all over the place. We have a site on our website, getsuckerpunch.com. We have a store locator too.
So I think what he was going to say is when you were going to be on our live last time, we actually got some to have it here and surprise you and go look it. And, but you didn't, something happened. It didn't happen. We ended up drinking it all. So took it to Sturgis. And
well, we didn't drink it all.
I had 2 and Galen had 0.
1.
So Lance had approximately 9.5.
I'm very hydrated.
I'm addicted to it. I love pickles anyway, so I just drink it no matter what. And what I like, it's small enough so it fits in my little bag on my handlebars really easy, so I can grab it and actually drink it when I'm riding.
Well, we'll be 20,001 stores when we get our place open September 15th, because we're going to be offering it at our store as well.
Yes.
Yes. And we don't have just pickle juice. We have the packs too. Stacy Wilt for Ride of Food usually travels with ours, and it's like a little snack, and it's in a little travel pack that seals, and it's just, you don't have to have a refrigerator for our pickles, so you can take them anywhere with you.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
And how long have you been doing this?
Since late December of last year. So,
Awesome.
Yeah, about 8 months with the company, and it's been great. We're based out of Chicago, and I've just been introducing it to some of my world, the motorcycle world, but we're on the sidelines of a lot of college football games. Like we're the drink that they choose on the sidelines, and kind of owning that space in the sports market. A lot of cyclists, and like at Ragbri, I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it's a bicycle race across Iowa. Like people drink it there and stuff too, but it's great. Everyone on here and everyone that's listening needs to have our pickle juice.
Definitely try it. I mean, I loved it. It's those little plastic shot bottles, and you can take them with you, and it's like
So like last October, were you thinking I'm going to get into a pickle juice company?
No, I wasn't. I didn't know. It all came about. Here's how it happened. I'm always thinking, right? My brain don't stop, and I always want to grow my hometown in Cave City. One of the things that people were wanting was a pickleball court. And I don't play pickleball. I don't know much about pickleball, but I know it's getting big. And I happened to be in Tennessee at this guy's place looking at an Airstream trailer. And he had a pickleball court. And I'm like, oh, you have a pickleball court? He says, well, I own a pickle company. And I was like, oh, cool. And I'm thinking, maybe I can get this guy to fund my pickleball court. And by the end of the conversation, I had a job. So I just came off of losing the election. I was running for mayor. I lost the election. So my schedule had freed up. And I was like, you know what? I used to be a marketing director for a lot of companies. And I was like, maybe I just get back into that. I love pickles. So let's see what I can do. And loved it so much, I invested in the company too. So I got years in it.
That's fate, right? You're looking for an Airstream trailer and you get a job.
I didn't get the Airstream. Oh, Mike did. Mike got the Airstream.
Yeah.
So you both got something.
Yes. Yeah, we did.
That's too funny.
Yeah.
It's funny how things just kind of fall in your lap and when you're not expecting it.
Yeah.
Oh,
now you were just in Europe, weren't you?
Yes, we went to Wheels and Waves. I don't know if you guys have been there.
No.
So that's I don't know how long they've been doing it, but it's been a while. It's a motorcycle event in Biarritz, which is South France near Spain, on the water. It's like motorcycles and surfing and art. And it was really cool. We went over there with like Steve Caballero was with us. Carrie Hart went over. We just rode around and got to experience how they do motorcycle rallies. It was awesome. It was like very high class, like different than ours. I think Carrie said it best. He's like, where's the fist fights and like loud music? You know,
It was too bougie.
it was a little, Urban Outfitters and motorcycles, but it was awesome. I mean, I love all of the events. And so it's really cool to see how different it was. This one was curated amazing. So it was gorgeous for one. And the riding was unbelievable. I mean, we had a day in Spain, like the races. The first day was these races in Spain. There was fog over the ocean and the mountains, and it was just unreal. And then it was like all throughout France. It was really spread out, and it was just a beautiful like event. If someone can make the trip over there, I would say go. Their vendors are totally different than ours. It was very art oriented. So there was a lot of artists there, really custom helmets, cool custom helmets you can get made that you can't get here, and this stuff like that. And then we took a vacation, like our first vacation. We went to Italy, and we went to Puglia region, which is the heel of the boot. And like real little. Like everyone speaks Italian. Most everything's cash, and it was cool to just get away. But I didn't have luggage. I don't know if y'all saw that fiasco. They lost my luggage. It never made it. It made it a month later at home.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you like the food in Italy?
Oh my God. I love the food in Italy. It was amazing. It was really cool. We rented a scooter when we were in Italy. That's what you need. So we rented these little scooters and just ripped around and got to other towns on those. And the streets are so little and there's cars everywhere and people. So you just need a little scooter to just hop around.
Well, that's someplace we need to get to.
Yeah.
We need to do a European tour. And that sounds like an event that we could start it off with.
I mean, that way we could technically do our cross-country Vespa tour because Italy's a lot smaller. So we'd still get away with it. We could still ride Vespas.
I'm telling you.
It'd be a good time.
I mean, I was in Greece and the guys are ripped. There's hundreds of these little motor scooters around and they're just ripping through the town.
Nice. Fun stuff.
You okay over there, Leticia?
All right. I'm healing from COVID, so I'm fighting through it.
Well, you're
almost
a
done.
trooper to be here with us. We appreciate that.
I appreciate you guys wanting to have. I've been trying to get back on again for a long time, so I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, it's always awesome. It's really cool. I like watching some of Mike's stuff because I used to paint signs and I love old signs, and he always finds old signs.
Oh my God.
Old signs were great.
Yeah, they're everywhere. I mean, he can spot them out in the middle of nowhere too. Like no one else see it, and he always sees it.
He's got the trained eye now.
Oh yeah, yeah, he does. I'm trying to learn from him. Take notes.
Yeah.
So I wasn't quite clear. I thought you're in Iowa now, but when you're saying you moved to Kentucky, weren't you in caves living above the dive bar?
Yeah, so I renovated. It's an old movie theater, and the building was built in 1903, and I renovated the whole building. And I live upstairs, and then down below is 3 retail spaces. And then I took the parking lot, and I made it into an outdoor event venue where we host live bands and farmers markets and things like that. I'm just trying to build as much as I can downtown with the space that I got. And so the best way to do that was to divide that building up into 3 businesses. So now there's 5 businesses I have downtown.
Wow.
Yeah, her
moved
post
away.
was just saying
No,
I recently moved back, as in within the past couple of years. If you're talking about the post
I thought
from
you
today.
were talking about but you've also created some revitalization with some restaurants down there as well, not yours, but others coming in. And you're doing car shows on all sorts of stuff to bring commerce down there. So talk a little bit about that just so people can know when that's happening.
Real quick, there's a comment on there. Mr. Williams, he wants to support the company, but he hates pickles.
I told him to get it together.
You got to like pickles, man.
Hey, we have mixers too on there. So if you like to drink, you can do that also.
There you go.
Good man.
Got Bloody Mary and margarita mixers. So we host 21 events downtown. I'm with a group called BLDG. We're Business Leaders Development Group. A group of friends started it. Sorry. And we do Cars and Coffee the first Saturday of every month, and it brings about 3,000 people downtown.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we do a farmer's market, a night market on Tuesday nights that brings local farmers from 100-mile radius down there so that we can give people really good food. And we also can take food stamps. So there's no reason not to eat healthy.
Wow, that's awesome. That really is good. I mean, and that's all from marketing and getting the word out there.
Oh yeah. We work really hard at it. We have a whole team. We're a registered 501c3. We're an organization, and we rely on sponsorships and donations, and we put it to good use to do events for the community and give back to and support our local businesses and farmers in the area.
We got to go back to Kentucky because we really got to see Abe Lincoln's birth house.
We saw it 25 places. I don't know where the hell it is.
You guys didn't see it all.
Well, it was
We saw
close.
different things. It was what? I thought it was here. Well, but Cave City is such a small little town. I mean, why would anyone ever go to Cave City? What's around Cave City?
Well, I'm there.
Yeah, there you go. A lot of caves.
Mammoth Cave National Park, the longest cave in the world, 426 miles long, is there. The dive bar, the wigwams. It's been there since 1936. It's a historic landmark.
We had the guy, the owner, comment that he has people coming to the wigwam also after seeing the videos with you. Pretty crazy.
I guarantee it. And people need to see that. I mean, it's so cool that it's there and it's survived. There were 7 and now there's 3, and these places, we got to preserve them or they're gone forever.
Absolutely.
Iconic 60s places where the idea was to get people to come and almost camp and socialize together.
The
playgrounds.
Right.
Yeah.
Road attractions when people was on their way to somewhere else. Like, how did you attract those people? Well, you had something kitschy and crazy. You had the giant Paul Bunyans or the Sinclair, the dinosaur, the green dinosaur.
Yeah.
Or the wigwams.
Well, and the cars back then too. I mean, you weren't getting the kind of gas mileage that you get. There weren't all the interstates that people are on. It was a way of life. And it's sad to see some of that go away, but it's great for us that's the 2-lane life, right? You get into these small towns and you get to meet people like you that own the bar because you're in the bar working at it. And you hear these amazing stories. And it's like, that's what started this whole thing for us is we've got to be able to tell stories to people and let them get out and experience it for themselves. And they won't believe it.
Right. Yeah.
And isn't it amazing? You've been around the world. You've had a great career doing other things, but you ended up back in the cool small town that you love. And that's kind of what America's all about.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we always romanticize and love. Most of the time we love where we're from, even though I wanted to get as far away from it as possible growing up. I thought I'd move back home and I didn't plan on it. It was a buffalo, that brought me back and had to have knee surgery. And then I just started sticking around and I just really wanted to save my town. I love my town. I believe in it and I'll believe in it till I die. And hopefully I'm making a difference there and it's starting, I'm lighting a fire and hopefully it just takes off. And
oh, you're doing it.
But it takes someone like you to do that, because the pizza place that we ate at across the street, there's a new restaurant down the street. I mean, that's revitalization in a very small town. Two
Mexican restaurants in that town.
Oh, you know what? Since you guys have been there last, some friends of mine, these investors, bought a lot more buildings. So there's a lot of really cool things coming. But they also bought an old amusement park, the Alpine Slide. There's only 11 of those left in the United States. So we have one. It was closed for 3.5 years. They just bought it, they put a bunch of money into it and reopened it. So now you can zip line, Alpine Slide, do go-karts and all this stuff there.
Well, see? And then talk about your uncle, your family member that was in the cave. Not your uncle, your great-great uncle.
Right. Lloyd Collins was trapped in 1925 for 17 days and died. And it was the second largest story between the world wars. And it made Mammoth Cave and really put it on the map. And it became a national park after that. The story about his death is just really crazy. He was buried 5 times total, and he was, trapped in the cave. They sealed the cave up and then they dug the body up. Then they buried him on top of the cave. Then when the land was sold, the guy dug him up, put him in a glass coffin, put him on display in the cave, sold tickets to it. Then his body was stolen. They found the body, put him back in the cave. And my family took the body out in the 80s and put him in our family cemetery.
Wow.
I know.
And for those of you that are interested, there's like 12,500 different songs written about that story.
Yes. Did you know John Prine did one, and Dan Auerbach, I was talking to him from the Black Keys.
There we go.
I didn't realize there was that many.
It looks like there's a bunch of podcasts too, but I think the most famous one is the Blackstone Cherry song, right?
Yeah.
And then It looks like, yeah, there's
What
a
does
bunch
that
of,
sound like?
let's see, will we get sued?
I don't know.
Well, I love the walk that we took with you down to that little cave.
Yeah, boy, I sure did. I remember this counter back there in the 20s.
Cut it off in
They
7
said that
seconds.
before college, he'd been caught in that cave, that sand cave down there. Once he got down there, he couldn't get out. So they just left him down there, and they had the sermon for him right there. He just laid there.
I'll skip a little bit. There it is, folks.
Wow.
That
that's
walk you took us
crazy.
down that was supposed to be a mile, but it ended up being like 25 miles. And
Yeah. Well,
then
you know,
we hung out in the locked entrance of that cave, and it was like your family property. That would have been so cool to get in that cave.
yeah, maybe next time we can do that. I would, I can get keys to it and we can go down in it.
Well, I can tell you, Laura and Teresa really loved that trip. It's one of the great memories. They had a good time in Canada and the East Coast, but the Kentucky-Tennessee trip was definitely something that they definitely fancied.
Well, I'm so, that makes me so happy because I ride these roads and I just, they're beautiful to me, but I mean, you guys ride everywhere. And so it's like, God, to be compared to some of the roads that you ride on is just great. But those days we rode was like magical.
Oh, yeah.
Falling, you ride through and it's like the leaves would fall out. Like I felt like we were on a movie set the whole time. I was like, who's directing this?
And I don't know how we hit it so well. Same thing with like the tail of the dragon. There was no moisture on it, but the leaves were, and it was like you're riding through snow.
Oh, yeah.
And we had some color, and the roads for us were just amazing. And if you ever are back that direction, you're on your Harley, whether you are on your own or you rent an EagleRider, just put in the nav no highways, and it'll take you on all the back roads that we saw. Just beautiful.
Well, anyone, tell your friends too. You get out on the open road. If you're in Kentucky, go downtown, go to Cave City. When we say downtown, it's not a big downtown. It's definitely a small town downtown. But go there, have a drink, say hi, just have a good time.
Yeah, I think because we started off in Nashville that trip.
Yeah.
And those surrounding roads that we took, a lot of the country roads that we were following by using the no highway map, they were great. Like, it was really enjoyable regardless. But the morning we did the whiskey tour and we got out on the road and you were leading, even if you're running off the road in the sand a little bit and then back on, either way. The second we started getting into some of those crests, it was incredible. We were all kind of mind blown. Like, you went from open stretches with all these barns, and you start seeing these big facilities for whiskey and all that. The turns, it was just really surprising,
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
good way.
No, I'm glad that you guys love that and appreciate it. And you came at the perfect time. And it's just, it's great to, be able to experience it, especially with friends, and show people that the stuff that I get to see almost every day.
Yeah, and we just didn't even scratch the surface, really.
No.
I mean, we did, I think the total miles we did was like 1,800, but we took as much time on the 1,800 miles as we would on a 10-day trip, like
Right.
just burning.
But yeah,
So it was, and I think that's what they liked, is I think we were in places for a couple days
Yeah.
right.
where we could actually unpack and then
Riding 200
ride around and
miles,
come back. And, but it's bar none some of the most spectacular riding. I mean, and I will have to say, we almost topped it. I don't know if we did or we didn't, but in Canada this year was insanely beautiful. If you've ever gotten up that direction, and even in the upper part of Washington, it was just mind blowing. And we were there at a time when we had a little bit of weather. So it kind of helped, how those mornings after the rain or the afternoons after the rain, everything is just spectacular. We got a little bit of that, but that was another, if you ever get a chance, that Canadian tour, if you look at our videos and you'll see where we went, but really from Banff or Waterton Lakes up to Banff and then Jasper up to Icefields Highway, just insane riding.
Well, just to be clear, we were at the Lincoln Memorial. We were standing there. It was closed because it was 5:00. So we could peek through the little windows and see the log cabin that was inside the building. So we were there, but we didn't get to go in and see it.
That's okay. I mean, that's fine. You can't do it all in one shot anyway. That's the point. How am I going to get you to come back if you do everything at one time?
Exactly.
Yeah, but there were, if I recall, there were 2 or 3 different signs saying where he was born. And then it was like, well, wait a minute. He wasn't born that one. He was raised here.
Right.
So we have to really find the spot.
Well, the memorial's got to be something.
It's definitely something.
Yeah.
Well, here's the deal. Us in Indiana fight over Lincoln because we're the birthplace of Lincoln and they're the land of Lincoln because he moved there. So he was born in Kentucky and lived here, I want to say until about 7. I may be wrong on that. But and then he moved, his family moved up there to Indiana. So, and then I think the cabin was actually at a different location on that property.
Yeah.
Somewhere out there. So
we read the story. It was located over in a different area. So it was a replica that they made and put the building around it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's on that road. That road is a beautiful road too. And then it leads to a place, Bardstown, which is the start of the Bourbon Trail. And at Bardstown, there's Oscar Getz Bourbon Museum. And that is the history of whiskey. I mean, through and through. If you want to learn about where whiskey started, how it was introduced here and everything, I mean, that's a place to go and check out. They also have a really amazing history of war museum. So all of the wars and all the memorabilia and things that have been gathered from it. So, I think that most people would love to go see that, especially veterans.
Sounds like we have to go back.
Yeah, we definitely have to go back.
So I was actually going to bring out a bottle of moonshine that a guy that came by brought us a jalapeno and also an apple. But I don't think with the effect that the beer is having on me with the 6-a-leve or 5-a-leve, it would be a prudent thing to do.
You're still on a leave. I got COVID and I didn't even take that.
I think he's tripping right now.
No, your father tried to kill me. I mean, is this part of the ploy? Is 2LaneLIVE you and Jay now?
Yeah.
Like I croak out here?
Yes. How often does Mike come to Kentucky?
Unrelated, Galen. What's your life insurance policy looking like?
Yeah. Significant.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
So how often is Mike in Kentucky?
All the time. So he lives close. He lives about 2 hours away.
Oh, okay.
Down in Tennessee, and he comes up quite a bit. He picks a lot of the places in my town, which makes me mad because they let him in there. Meanwhile, I've lived next to this thing my whole life, and you ain't let me in here yet. But he comes up and helps me with my place. Like I'm still kind of building. I've got just a few projects left, and he helps me lay out and design. And then we went and did that tourism piece. And I'm telling you, I went to some of the most amazing towns there that I had never been to as a Kentuckian that is just 2 hours from me that I definitely want to go back and him too.
Yeah.
Well, let's plan a trip next year and you can show us around.
Let's do it. And then we'll hit Columbia, Tennessee to Columbia Motor Alley where Mike has all the stuff.
Yeah, let's figure that out. That'd be fun.
Yeah, for sure. He's done a lot for that little town too. I mean, I don't know how many buildings he's got, but there's one. It's an old gas station property that he's just now starting working on in the outdoor area. So for outdoor seating, and it's really cool to take these old service stations and repurpose them into bars and restaurants and little like retail stores and stuff. So
we need to do a road trip where we meet him and talk to him about what he's doing. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
Have him ride.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. But he always rides old things. I got him out I always feel like a squid next to him because, he's riding the real deal. And some bitches, sorry. I don't know if I'm supposed to cuss or not, but
you can do whatever you want.
Well, fuck yes. So it's rattling like like a fat hooker. It's going to throw him off. And he's like, I'm like, how does he ride these things? Like, I would love it, but I just too beat up for it.
Yeah.
We could still ride with him.
Yeah.
We'll be on current.
We'll all be on current. It'll just be him.
We're on our nice baggers.
We'll do 40 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour, and just chill.
He's got a brand new Indian Challenger. He calls it a spaceship. And it is kind of, I mean, it is different. I mean, he turned it on. And it's all these electronics. And he's like, what do I do?
Yeah.
He's not used to that, you know? And he rides all the stuff he's got, which is, you know, awesome that he's just not letting some of these valuable bikes just sit there for people to look at. He's actually riding.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. And that's kind of what Jay Leno does. We went to his garage and he knows every car and every motorcycle, and he's got hundreds of them. And he can go to the oldest one and tell you how to prime the oil and do this and that and start it.
Yeah.
And he rides everything and drives everything.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's great. See, I love that. So does Matt at Waxler at Wheels Through Time in Maggie Valley, Tennessee. Every single bike in there, I think there's 400, they all run.
Nice.
Yeah. Which is an amazing thing to say. And if anyone's riding through the Smokies in that area, that is the place you should go. If you're
we need to go there.
I mean, we had a couple people tell us Maggie Valley is just insane, and we do need to get there.
And that was the one we passed because we've had a handful of people say we missed Wheels Through Time. Was Maggie Valley that right before you went down to, was it the Jack Distillery? I don't know, but
I don't know. I mean,
definitely on the list.
Yeah.
We were trying to get to the tail, and I thought it was great, but it's only 12 miles long or something, right? The Cherahala's Byway, Skyway was insane. That was so long and beautiful, and I think Maggie Valley has some similar rides that are a bit longer like that.
Yeah. And they do a motorcycle rally there. I think it's like Thunder in the Smokies or something.
Right.
That's cool too. I mean, it's all about riding at those places. I mean, it's more of a just go and experience nature and those back roads and then visit the museum for sure. I mean, you could spend, and I have been in there so many times and I still see stuff that I didn't know. And I want to memorize all of it, but it's so much history.
So you've done the Kentucky tourism, and that seems like that's going to be an amazing. You'll have to send us the links to it so we can watch it and then you've done this pickle juice thing. You're still working in the town, and what else is on your list right now?
Well, I just did a thing with Damson's. They're a clothing company out of the UK, and they kind of talked about some of the stuff that I'm doing, and I got to work with them on their clothing, which is amazing. It's totally my style, which is kind of like pioneer, mountaineer, always big hats and whatnot, and great quality. So I did that, and I don't know what's on my list right now because it changes day to day. I mean, I guess I'm ADD. I don't know. I just want to do everything before I die. I do know that I want to take this fall when it cools down, because it's in the South, the Golden Record Road, which is the Americana Music Triangle. It's 9 genres of music, starting out in Owensboro, then going to Nashville, and then over to Memphis, and then like Tupelo, Muscle Shoals, Florence, Clarksdale, Mississippi, New Orleans. So I want to do like part of it is the Natchez Trace, and that is one of the most pristine blacktop roads. They don't allow semi trucks on it. So as a motorcyclist, it's like being on a racetrack. It's so well taken care of. So we
have people talking about that as well. And maybe even you were telling us that too.
Yeah.
But the roads around your place are really nice too.
Yeah, they're insane.
Well, there's some, we could have went on this one, and it's one of my favorites to ride, and maybe you'll hit gravel, maybe you won't, you never know. And
I mean,
she's frozen.
If you want to find good roads that are bumpy, you go down like Kayenta through Arizona, where it's just pothole heaven.
At least we can still hear.
Hold on.
What's that?
Yeah, I'm just going to remove you real quick, then add you back on. And we are live. Boom.
Was it frozen with a funny face? Probably.
No, it was perfect.
I was going to say, but on those back roads, I always say this, you got to watch out for those critters or crackheads, and they look the same. But they're the funnest roads ever. So Someone just asked on here, is there a bar in Cave City?
I think he's joking. But
Boy, have you just tuned into this show?
Get on him.
The Dive Bar, Cave City, the best.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait, is that a new tattoo?
No, we did this. So we did a motorcycle event on a Thursday. It was a bike night. We had 500 bikes show up, and and we had tattoo artists do tattoos in there. So we had a lot of people come and get dive tattoos on them. What I think's funny, let me tell you this one. So this guy who doesn't like us now got a dive tattoo as a tramp stamp on his back. And
No way.
I laugh every time I think about that.
So why doesn't he like you?
because he got a tramp stamp on his back. No, I'm kidding.
I don't know. I don't know.
That's the guy that you have to throw out every week.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I was going to look for the picture.
People are saying she's a black screen again, but I can see her well.
I can see her.
So I'm going to
Take her out and do it
take her
again.
money and run. I don't know.
I think it's good.
Yeah, it's probably cool.
So yeah, I would just say, you guys, everyone that's watching is probably a rider, traveler. You got to get hydration, and you're going to have to check out the pickle stuff. What pickle punch?
Sucker punch.
Sucker punch.
Yeah.
Sucker punch. Love it.
It's all in the video description as well.
Yeah, and we're going to have Sucker Punch. We're probably going to have it on our website too, but we're going to have it in our store, and we're going to drink it. And like I say, we don't do anything if we don't like it or believe in it.
You can hand that to
And we do, and we've tested it on our own, so we're stoked.
Galen's apparently got something to show. Let
Uh-oh.
me see that, Galen. Oh, don't show that. Okay. Let me get it all focused here.
What is that?
That's
Your name. That's at our bar.
Your name here. That was some dude in your bar when we were there.
You know that,
I know
Leticia.
what that is.
I thought you might know.
He was walking up to everyone. I got your name tattooed on my ass. And we're like, what? And it says your name here.
That's the thing I love about having a dive bar is everybody is welcomed. Everybody feels can be who they are. I mean, we've had weddings, we've had funerals. You know, you can come visit Tommy Two Fingers. His ashes are in the bar. I mean, we
Tommy
have
Two.
Tommy Two Fingers, and we
I
put
remember him
his name
too.
in gold on the bar, and we kind of really just highlight the people are who make our success. You know, so we really just want to thank them for that and build a community. These are our family.
Exactly.
Well, and we were there for 2 or 3 nights, and so people embraced us there as well. And he came up and said, "Do you know I tattooed my name on my ass? Your name on my ass?" And I'm like, "What?" He pulled his pants down, and I had to take a picture of it.
But it's funny because he pulled his pants down standing facing you, then he turned around.
No, he didn't. He was behind him. But we saw the community in your bar as well. It was people weren't getting rowdy except for the one guy when Shannon had to rip him apart. But that's neither here nor there. But we have seen pictures of Shannon pulling people across the bar.
Right.
She'll let you know real quick if you're out of line.
And then to find out, talking to my mom about the Kentucky trip before we left, even we're going there, this and that my grandfather was born in Kentucky. So I have some roots in Kentucky.
Well, then that makes you a good man.
Yeah. I think she said he was born in Covington, Kentucky.
Oh, yeah. That's not super far at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have to visit it next time when you come down.
Yes. And I think my mom and the family actually have been to the Mammoth Caves.
Yeah. It's a famous place that really legitimizes you guys went to it, so you got to see. I mean, that legitimizes our little town.
Yeah.
So it helps, it helps us, really makes us established. And, we should be a lot bigger than what we are. And when I came home 5.5 years ago, I couldn't understand why we had not just not grown, but we had declined. And so I really have just worked really hard at trying to figure that out through politics and through just building a community and our work with our charity, and then also our businesses. And then, you know, it's not easy. I mean, change doesn't happen overnight. And I've got a great group of people, investors that are now believe in it too and are putting their money where their mouth is. So I hope when you guys come back next, it'll be different, but definitely in 3 years, it won't even be near the same town.
Well, and you've got some industry coming in with jobs and providing that place where people are going to want to live, and then come down to a place where they need to have dinner or do something. So there's some growth happening, right?
Oh my God. If anybody's looking to invest, right now is the time to do it in Cave City, because we have the largest project that the state of Kentucky has ever done in its history, which is a battery factory, and it's employing 7,000 people.
Wow.
In that one. Then there's another one. Well, actually, it's more than like, because they just bought another 22 acres. So it is insane how many people are.
Is the house next to the dive still for sale?
It is.
Oh,
Eat it.
We need to snatch that up.
On it.
2LaneLIVE
Yeah.
house.
2-lane hostel.
Two.
I got plenty of people to sleep there. They already sleep in the yard.
yeah.
Well, that's awesome to hear that. And it's, you know, again, it takes someone to lead that charge. And sometimes, like you said, change is tough for some of the people. I know kind of the mayor thing was tough on you a bit, but you're still, at least from an outsider's perspective, and I think from an insider's perspective too, you're still a force to be dealt with there. And we encourage you just keep pushing that through, because it, you know, it's like the pickle stuff. Fate happens and projects happen, and it takes a leader to kind of get through that. And if the mayor's not the leader, then it takes a civilian to be that leader.
Thank you for saying that. I just sent an email yesterday that said basically the same thing to the mayor. You know,
Well, sometimes the civilians can get more done than the people wrapped up in the tape.
Well, and who knows? Maybe you'll end up getting back into something like that again, because you're a servant as well, and you know, you're a servant to your town and your heritage.
Well, if you get back into it, we're going to come into town and do a big Leticia push.
Yes. We need to, definitely. That'd be great. Yeah, I don't think people realize that it's not easy to put yourself out there and to make change. Means that you're not going to be liked by everyone. You got to make tough decisions, and those people that don't like you usually carry a lot of hate and a lot of disdain, and they build an army, and so you get abused and beat up along the way of that. But if you believe in the cause and you know that it's for the right reason, then you're able to push through. And that's why I'm able to deal with it all the time. I mean,
well,
you know.
Well, and let's face it. I mean, for females, it's a little tougher, but you look, there's role models out there like Kristi Noem, you know, that just badass politicians that are not going to take shit, and they're fighting for their state. And in your case, fighting for your city.
But you're tough. And if you weren't tough, you would have already stopped.
Yeah, well, yes, I have my little bitty moments, but I do those in silent, and then I show a face that can't be broken. That's for sure, because
that's all that counts.
I believe in what I'm doing, and I'll believe in it to the end. So I mean, and I think that it's making a difference, and I can't, you know, and I know it's making a difference, so I can't stop, you know. And at the end of the day, it's like there's that saying, and I say it all the time, that Italian saying, great men plant trees that they know they will not feel the shade from. And all I'm thinking is, like, the change that I know that needs to happen won't happen in my lifetime, but I know that it will happen eventually, and that's all I want. I just know that I need to leave something behind that makes it better for everybody in my town.
That's awesome.
100%.
But I think there's little bits of change happening every day when you're doing what you're doing. So you may not see it as much, but in the grand scheme, it's there.
Yeah. Yes. I hope so. It's always nice. Like when you guys come and tell me all about it, like that's the things I need to hear. I mean,
right. We're witnessing it. If you can't see all of it, we're seeing a lot of it too. So
yeah, for sure.
Well, we're coming up on an hour, so let's talk just quickly again about, so let's name the pickle company, let's name the clothing company, maybe a little bit about the Kentucky tourism, where that can be seen or when it can be seen. Let's plug some of those things again. So
So I think the Kentucky tourism piece comes out September 20th. It'll definitely be on all their Kentucky's social channels, but I'm not sure where on commercials it'll run. I don't know if it's just through the state of Kentucky or throughout the U.S. to promote people coming in. But I'll definitely be sharing it no matter what, because you know me, I got to share Kentucky. And then the Damsons it's DAMSON is a great clothing brand out of the UK. They just did an interview with me and a lot of great other people too. It's called Pioneers on their website. You can check that out. And then the pickle company is Sucker Punch, and it's at getsuckerpunch.com. We have pickles. We have 9 different types of pickles. We have margarita mixers, Bloody Mary mixers, and pickle juice.
Well, we're going to be flying that flag.
Good. As you should.
Will
And
you
then
get the clothing in her description as well? Yeah. If there's a link to that, you could share it or what have you. Or we can look it up.
okay.
We'll put it in the description so people can click on it and see.
Well, thank you.
Well, heck.
Man, I didn't realize an hour would fly by that well. And someone commented, I think it was Mad Mac. Thank you for being on with COVID. And, we appreciate that. You didn't have to take this at all. You could have said, guys, let's try it again another time. But you have been a trooper for us and a good friend. And we appreciate you jumping in here today.
I love talking to you guys, so I really appreciate you having me. And of course, I'm not going to miss it. I mean, yesterday, maybe. I was really sick yesterday.
Now, if you're ever in LA, you and Mike or whatever, or California, let us know so you can come by. We'll get you guys dinner and hang
they
out.
can buy us dinner. They did the Kentucky tourism thing.
You getting as a steak one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd love to break bread with you if you're out this direction. And if not, tell him hello. We'll figure it out off camera. It would be fun to maybe jump out there next year sometime and do a little piece with him as well, if he's up to it.
Yeah.
And then give your mom a big hug and Shannon a big hug as well.
I will for sure. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so
We
much.
appreciate you.
So we'll talk to you about details for our store.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
All right. Well, hey, have a good evening. Get some rest.
Thanks. See
You're-
you.
Drink some pickle juice.
You're loved in California.
Well, good. I want to be loved everywhere, especially California. It's a big old state.
Thanks, Leticia.
Bye, guys.
See you down the road.
See you down that road.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. Episode 1 of Sturgis just dropped, and episode 2 is on the way. It's a lot of coming.
They're going to be great.
Wednesday. They're
Well,
very
if it was
fun
worth
videos.
$250,000 a load, then that would be some good worth right there.
Speaking of coming, yeah.
Yes.
Were you guys talking about horses? Because I was tuning out. I was doing something else.
Yes,
and then
we're talking
boom,
about
sperm
studs.
was hitting my eardrums. Not physically.
Studs.
Through this.
Studs.
Fuck.
So,
Okay.
I have
This
to tell
podcast is over. Thanks for watching. Now, what's
Every
up?
time we talk to her, I mean, this isn't just a plug for her, right? I mean, she's amazing.
Totally amazing.
I mean, now she's helping market a pickle company and
Yeah. She is a badass.
and when you go sit with her and talk with her, it's just like,
We got some people tuning in late, and I'm very well aware that what we just said made 0 sense. And
well, then you should tune in from the beginning.
yeah, that's what he said.
watch from the beginning.
Yeah, then you'll know
Come
what's
on
up.
now.
Yeah, anyway, we sell
Turn it
motorcycle
late.
parts. Check out 2LaneLIVE.com. We got blogs. Been writing the Sturgis blog. So we got info on where we ate, where we stayed, all that good stuff. We got some pictures that haven't been posted on social or in the videos or anything. We got a handful of those Sturgis videos, and then back to a couple Canada videos, and then some surprises for you guys. Anything
But
else?
also the Harley-Davidson app. Check that out because we got some cool videos on that app in the group section.
Mile Crushing Series.
Yes.
So check those out.
One of them drops tomorrow.
Yep.
So
Boom.
Appreciate EagleRider. Thank you for the support.
Thank you, guys.
Not calling out New Belgium because he hasn't called me back.
Yes. Well, then call him out. Like,
Call
hey,
him
buddy.
out right now.
let's
So I'll drink a Firestone.
see him down the road. How about that?
Hey, we'll see you down the road.
See you down the road.